The following game currently has its rating pending from the ESRB, so it doesn't technically have one. However, from what I've read from the developer, I believe they're expecting it to be a mature rated game. In fact, they do have a mature content description right here, where it is set in a fictional medieval world, and the player assumes the role of an adventurer. He engages in fights and battles and may kill enemies and possibly horses using swords, axes, and other melee and ranged weapons. There is going to be blood and ragdoll death animations. You can also purchase various alcoholic beverages in taverns, and some game text may include moderate crude language as those types of examples. So because it will most likely be mature rated, that means anyone under the age of 17 should not be watching this video. Also, this game is in early access, so the video that you are about to see is not about the full game, and the final product may not exactly match what you see in the video. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations, I am Outlier, and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is, of course, my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today, we return to Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. Yes, this is the one where you live the life of a medieval lord and command an entire army to basically do medieval lord things. Okay, not exactly the correct game. No, this isn't Stronghold. So the premise of the entire Mount & Blade series is that you are well, originally I guess you started as an adventurer, off in the open world sandbox of a continent or land known as Calradia. And, well, as I said, you start off as an adventurer in order to survive in such a land which is fraught with wars and has no centralized government or consideration for anything that even remotely resembles peace. You eventually have to build and then maintain and also lead your own army. And the only way to do that is to go from adventurer to mercenary to, well, lord to, if you so wish it, king or technically queen. And essentially, in addition to founding your own country, also create your own dynasty. Because Mount & Blade 2, while a prequel to the prior games of Mount & Blade and Mount & Blade Warband, is also technically a sequel in that it's more advanced in terms of its mechanics and methods of doing things. Yes, it also looks better. So the Mount & Blade series has been chronically one of my favorite games. Well, I haven't really made videos all that much of it because it is technically in early access. And while I've yet to come across a time where they've done a major update to add a large pile of things, breaking saved games to the point where I have to start over, periodically I do start over just simply because they change a lot of the background mechanics, and I get to a point in the game where those background mechanics aren't as effective or important as they would be. So with that in mind, I figure it's a good idea to just simply start over. Yes, that is also true. And on that note, this game is, of course, made by. Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin.
Alright, so we'll start with a new campaign. Alright, so here we are at the very, very beginning, and we have to pick our culture. I've been playing mostly as Imperial-based culture, mostly because the Sturgians, the Valandians, the Assyri, the Kuzits, and the Battanians all have some manner of faction later down the line in Mountain Blade Warband. So, and I've played for, or at least fought for and against, all of these forces and cultures. And just because you start as with the imperial culture doesn't mean you can't become a Battanan warlord or a Valandan baron or whatever the Sturgians call their nobles. I don't remember. But I usually pick Empire because for some strange reason I like fighting for dying causes. So I'm probably just going to skip the basic character construction. Alright, so this is a crazy wild man. Alright, so this is the last part of the background. I basically just chose stuff to get all the core skills up to 3 and focus points into various skills that I think would be useful or helpful. Don't really have anything in steward, medicine, or engineering right now, but as I go up in various levels, I believe I can add in focus points to wherever I need or want them to go. But since this is technically critical to how do I want to put it? The main what passes for the initial main storyline. So the basic current background is that, like many families in Calradia, your life was upended by war. Your home was ravaged by the passage of army after army. Eventually, you sold your property and set off with your father, mother, brother, and your 2 younger siblings to a new town you've heard was safer. But you did not make it. Along the way, the inn at which you were staying was attacked by raiders, your parents were slain, and your 2 youngest siblings seized. But you and your brother survived because, and my options are to either subdue a raider, you drove them off with arrows, you rode off on a fast horse, you tricked the raiders, or you organized the travelers to break out. While technically cutting and running is probably not the most noble of options, it does give me a attribute point in endurance, which was at the time the lowest of all the options that I had selected, as well as gives me 10 skill levels and a focus point in riding and scouting, which riding is useful considering a lot of times, unless you get your horse shot out from under you or you're in the middle of a siege combat or fighting in the back end of an alley, you're usually fighting on horseback. So at least in my opinion, that's usually more critical than, say, athletics, which governs how well you fight on foot. Also, I did end up with 2 focus points in crossbow, so I'm not complaining. So, off we go. Alright, so prepare to set off with your brother on a mission of vengeance and rescue. Here's your character. Click finish if you're ready, or go back to make changes. The first thing I'm going to do is change the name and not misspell it this time, because I'd prefer to be fight under the name Otis as opposed to Autis. Yes, that happened. Anyway, so, and this is just a breakdown of the options that I chose, in case anybody's interested. Moving on. And these are various difficulties. I do keep these various difficulties to very easy.
Honestly, the difficulties just change the ratio of numbers. It doesn't make things more challenging, just harder. And I assure you, this game is plenty hard, even on very easy mode. Even the fully finished versions of Mountain Blade were ridiculously hard if the game let it be. I'm not going to disable Birth and Death, where heroes, basically the various lords and other nobles, are not able to age or reproduce, cannot be changed later. So I like the fact that the character can actually start his own family and eventually die of old age. I don't think I have die in combat selected. At the very least, it can be turned off later. So let's start the game. Okay, so apparently I just instantly gained a level. So Nathanios, he's our brother. Brother, it's been 3 days now. We've been tracking those bastards. I think we're getting close. We need to think about what happens when we catch them. How are we going to rescue Phanos and Aaliyah? Are we up for a fight? So Nathanios is, I believe, our older brother. Phaos and Aaliyah, I did not get to choose these names, are our younger siblings. And our parents, of course, were killed. Alright, so it looks like this looks like an old training field for the legions. Perhaps we can spare some time and brush up on our skills. The practice could come in handy when we catch up with the raiders. And I can continue, and I'm going to run the course. I need to know if I can how to fight if I have to. Or I can continue the tutorial, or we have no time to lose. We can do more if we split up. We can skip the tutorial. Or so you think we'll catch up to the raiders soon, or how should we prepare for the fight? I mean, I could run through the tutorial, but I did that last episode, and it does take a while, and I don't want to either cut out a large chunk of this video, or have a large portion of it just be the same. Besides, it's not like a case that I can just simply, if I pass on the tutorial, can never come back. I can always come back here and practice. So I think we'll catch up with the raiders soon. Those tracks look fresh. I've seen some smoke on the horizon. They can't move too quickly if they're still looting and raiding. Now I'm pretty sure we'll be able to rescue the little ones or die trying. Let's not do the or die trying part. How should we prepare for the fight? Well, if they're still pillaging, they may have split up into smaller groups. Hopefully we won't need to take them all on at once. But hopefully we could hire or persuade some people to join us. So let's just skip the tutorial, as I said. Are you sure about that? This option will finish the tutorial, which has story elements, and start a full single-player campaign. It's recommended that you pick this option only if you've already played the tutorial once. Alright, well, I was unaware of the whole skip the tutorial part, so no, let me rethink this. Alright, so let's go then. Play the combat tutorial. I prefer to do this in first person. Apparently, I have to at the very least complete the Elite tutorial. I think this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna say, do I fight you? Okay, so it's defend first. Alright, and this just explains how fighting works. It's all orientation based, and that ends up... Okay, so that's shield training. Do I pick another one? Here we are. So that teaches you how to fight with a sword and shield. One thing that I don't like is that the attack angle is focused on, you know, mouse cursor movement. So you literally have to change where you're looking determines how you attack. One thing that I don't really like about combat in this game. Alright, so then I have to go to advanced melee training. Do I have to go through advanced melee training? Can we just go? I guess I am. Am I ready to leave? Yes, let's go. Alright, so you're at a training field. You learn the basics of combat here. Alright, so Thanos says, Before we do anything else, we're low on food. There's a village north of here. We can buy provisions, find some help. You're a better rider than I am, so I'll let you lead the way. So we basically head to, welcome to Calradia, all that fun stuff. How to move around on the map. And then set off to Tevia. And we are starving, so we lose 5 morale. Morale is very important in this game. Best to keep everybody happy, so we walk around. Just simply because the tutorial said so. We're here, I guess, so we need food, and after that, maybe some men to come with us. The headman here can probably help us. Let's try to find him. Alright, so if we hold down left alt, we can... That's control. If we hold down left alt, we can see where all the important people are. So let's just head off in this direction. Which generally the important people are the guys not walking around. I said it as I passed by somebody who isn't important who isn't walking around. So let's be civil and get off of our horse. I'll interrupt whoever the headman's talking to, and so he is Headman Dester. And so he is Dester, headman of this village. What brings you here? We need some help. Some raiders taking our younger brother and sister captive. We think they may have passed this way. And they got your people too? Sorry to hear that. Those bastards have done quite a bit of killing and looting in these parts as well. Not what it says, but close enough. We think they've gone north. I reckon there are a few folk around here who will join you in going after them if you'll pay for their gear. Once you've made preparations, come and talk to me again. I may have a task for you if you're going after the raiders. Alright, so I don't really need to, but let's get back on the horse. And then just leave. And that allows us to head to this screen where we can just automatically buy food and recruit people. So we, strangely, oddly enough, have quite a bit of money for a bunch of guys fleeing bandits. So just take everybody. And then we need to buy food to feed everybody. So I need 2 sacks of grain. I finished preparations. Let's talk to the headman. He says he needs a task. Let's actually buy more grain. Much grain as we can carry. Alright, so rather than just wandering around, we can just click his portrait and automatically go to him. Glad to see you found what you needed. Now about that matter I mentioned earlier. There's a wandering doctor who comes through here from time to time, name of Tactios. Treats people for free. We're fond of him. Well, we last saw him a few days ago. He was carrying some sort of chest, which he was very mysterious about. He was on some sort of quest, he said, though wouldn't tell us more. He set off on the road just a few hours before the raiders came through here. Well, he's not really the worldly type, just a kind of fellow who'd stumble into a trap and let himself be captured. We're worried about it. If you can keep an eye out for him, this Tactos, we'll be very grateful. Maybe if he's alive, and, well, he'll tell you a little more about his quest. Then we leave. And then we leave the village. So, now the next part of the quest, if we look at... it's the encyclopedia. Look at the journal. We need to defeat 3 parties of bandits looking for the doctor. Alright, so there's 6 bandits versus our party of 8.
Yeah!
Alright, and since we're literally fighting right outside the village, I don't think I can actually couch lance damage with this spear. Alright, that did not go as well as I had hoped. That's what happens when I ride off all by my lonesome.
Attack!
Everybody attack, come on. Oops.
Forgot they don't auto attack. They don't like auto charge forth.
get a swinging attack in as opposed to parry. That did not hit anybody. That killed somebody. Okay, fine. Get the long stick out. Okay, now. We're not. And you're dead. And I'm almost dead myself. That's what happens when I fight in a shirt and pants. So I'm assuming I'm wearing pants. So I won the battle. Almost died. And I gained 1 morale, and we actually managed to take 1 person alive. Alright, so take the prisoner alive. Maybe useful. And then we get small amount of loot. I mean, I am technically wearing pants as part of the shirt. But it's basically pants and leather shoes. Well, military tunic and leather shoes. And that's it. I mean, this gives me about the same amount of leg armor as I already have. I don't think the tattered wrapped arm guards actually give me any armor. So we'll take the rough bracers and actually equip them. Just so that way I have 6 in armor. Alright, now we just got to do that 2 more times. Alright, now the fun begins because these 2 groups were so close together, I'm fighting them both at once.
So now rather being 8 against 6,
it's now 8 against 12, and I started at half health, so... Yeah, we're on horseback in the tutorial.
everybody charge.
Whoa!
Look at the bar at top, it gives a basic proximity of the strengths of the various troops, and even though we're outnumbered, my side has a higher bar, so we actually have the advantage. I probably should enjoy it while it lasts. This will not always happen. Oops. Especially if I plow into people. Especially if I plow into my own people. And I managed to kill 1 guy. Alright, and they are fleeing, so now we can just let them go, or we can chase them down and butcher them like the dogs that they are. I'm all for butchering. Especially if I can get that 1 guy's hat.
Go!
Don't know quite where the edge of the map is just yet, so probably best if we do as much damage as we can to as many people as we can. There's the edge of the map. And we managed to kill them all. Well, except 1 guy who I'm guessing ran off in a different direction.
Yeah!
Which is probably why he's still alive. And he's gone. Okay. Yep, 1 guy managed to flee. We managed to take 1 person alive and kill off the other 5. I'm sorry, 10. We get 1.2 morale, and we lose nobody. Done. Alright, more tattered armbands. More
zip-tied bracers, more cavalier boots. So basically, no helmet. Okay. Rescue several prisoners that the raiders had been dragging along. They look parched and exhausted. Give them a bit of water and bread, and after a short while, one staggers to his feet and comes over to you.
Alright, so this is the doctor that they told, that the village headman told us about. His name is Tactos. I don't know who you are, but I'm in your debt. These brigands would have marched us to our deaths. Name's Tactos. I'm a doctor by trade. I was on, well, a bit of a quest. I'm thinking I'm not really made for this kind of thing. I was with the caravan and they just came out of the bush. We were surrounded and outnumbered, so we gave up. I figured they'd keep us alive, if just for the ransom, but then they started flogging us along at top speed without any water, which was about ready to drop. I could feel the signs of heat stroke creeping up, and I told them, but they just flogged me more. If your group hadn't come along, maybe I have a way of thanking you properly. We're looking for 2 children captured by the raiders. Can you tell us anything? I'm afraid I haven't seen any children, but after our caravan was attacked, the chief of the raiders, the one they call Radagos, took and rode off with our more valuable belongings, including a chest that I had. They seem to be controlling more than one band and raiding around this area. If this lot has your kin, then I think he'd be the one to know. And since I have nothing left of value to repay your help, I'll tell you this. If you catch up with and defeat that ruffian, you may be able to recover my chest. It contains a valuable ornament, which I was told to be of great value if you knew where to sell it. I'm trying to find out more about it, but as I say, I've had all my urge for traveling flogged out of me. Right now, I don't think I'll venture more than 20 paces from a wall as long as I live. Keep that in mind. It doesn't look like much, and I suspect this lot will give it away for a few coins, but I got it from a mercenary whom I treated once and swore it's related to Neretz's folly. I don't know what that means, except that Neretz was, of course, the emperor who had died in battle some years back. Maybe you can find out its true value. Thanks for saving me, and I hope our path will cross again. Alright, so there is that hideout up there, and I next have to go there and fight the raiders. Of course, however, my character is now at 52 health. Well, I'm not say 52 health. I should say 52% health. And hitting up raider strongholds are kind of, well, restrictive to the point where I'm fairly certain I want to be at full health for that. So we'll head back to Teva. And I can't wait because of the tutorial.
So I guess I got to go in with about half health. Alright, let's hit it. Buddy, charge. Alright, so they start unawares according to the tutorial blinking thing at top, but like I said, I'm at half health, and all those guys are better heavily armed and armored than I am, so they take the lead and just massacre everybody. Tutorial, what could go wrong? The answer is plenty. Well, apparently I gained a point in tactics, and it's now 11. Fun stuff. Okay, fine, we'll follow the tutorial. Now everybody charges. Of course, my lack in skill in athletics, I'm basically being left behind by everybody else. But, like I said, they're better armed and armored, so I'm fine with it. Where is this last guy?
that was him. Alright, and how the bandit things work is you sneak in, you slaughter all the bandits in residence, and then the bandit leader shows up with his henchmen. And so this bit of storyline doesn't always happen, but Radagos is here, so who's this that comes through my place of business killing my employees? We heard you took our little brother and sister. Where are they? Good heavens, I'll need a better description than that. My men have harvested dozens of little brats in this region, quite good hunting grounds. Already sent most of them south to a slave market I know, though. Since your hunt for your kin is fruitless, how about you clear off and save your own lives? Either that, or I force you to look up all the blood you've spilled here with your tongues. Or you and I could settle this one-on-one. So basically, this is what happens. As I said, you raid a bandit encampment, you have your troops kill off all of their guys, bandit leader shows up, you can fight him one-on-one, or you can have whatever remains of your forces attack whatever remains of his forces. Some of my options are very well, I'll duel you, given the fact he's got a helmet and pretty much heavy armor and probably better weapons, and I even started at just about half health. I don't think that's a very good idea, so I don't duel slavers, men attack. And I'll sneak around behind and try to take pot shots. Why not? We have one. 1.6 morale. Alright, plundered 29 gold. So Radagos states, well, I recognize defeat when I see it. If I'm going to be a captor, let me introduce myself. I'm Radagos. You haven't cut my throat yet, which was a wise move. I'm sure I can find a way to be worth more to you alive than dead. You better help us get our brother and sister back. We'll be swinging from a tree. Oh, you'll need my help alright if you want to get them back alive, that is. See, my boys have some pretty specific instructions about what to do if there's a rescue attempt. Shall we get on the road? Remember, if I drop dead of exhaustion or drown in some river, that's it for your little dears. Don't expect a cozy palanquin now, but you best not make it too hard a trip for me. Dude's whining is all... yeah. And we grab 2 more of his people. Alright, come across a chest with no piece of bronze in it. It's so battered and
corroded that it could have been anything from a cup to a crown.
This must be the chest Tactos mentioned to you that had something to do with Neretz's folly. So Nathaniel states, I was hoping to find more treasure here, but I think business wasn't going too well for Radagos and his gang. Found this strange looking metal piece, though it doesn't look too valuable, but it could be the artifact Tactos was talking about. Maybe we can sell it to one of the noble clans for a hefty price. Alright then, let's get on the road. I have a better idea. We would have a better chance if we split up now. I'll take Radagos and go find the slaver market and look for a way to free the children. However, we must be careful not to endanger the lives, and it could be better just to buy them. We'll need to have our purses full for that, though. I'll need to take these men with us. Radagos is a slippery one. I don't want him getting away. So you want me to raise the money to ransom the little ones? Indeed, you have to find a way to do that. Maybe this bronze thing can help. Tactos said it could be worth a fortune to the right person if you manage not to get killed. If he's telling the truth, you must be careful. Never reveal that you have it. Try to understand its value and how it can be sold. Yeah, it can't really be sold.
I mean, it is valuable in its own way, but it can't be sold that way.
One more thing, when you are talking to nobles and other people of importance, make sure you present yourself as someone from a distant but distinguished family. Use their family name if you like, or make up a new one. You'll have a better chance of obtaining an audience with nobles and be easier for me to find you by asking around. Alright, so last time I played this, I chose the family name of Out because I thought it'd be funny to be part of the House of Out or the Outhouse, as I thought it would be listed. However, while I think that's still funny, I think it'd be more appropriate to go with Liar. Even though technically now it's a House of Liars. Although it's spelled like the instrument. Most trustworthy liars you'll ever see. Continue.
Alright, so now I get to choose the banner symbol. I like birds. Because I don't think they, I was going to say, I don't think they have a fish, but they have a fish. I went with this one last time. So we'll go with this one. That or I went with that one, I don't remember. I think I can actually change it if I so chose. Don't quite know what size does, but no, that's what size does. Yes, the biggest bird probably on the flag you'll ever see.
Don't read too much into that.
Alright, so now I have to establish a clan, so the tutorial's now over and I'm free to explore Calradia. So, if I look at the journals, I now have 2 quests. I need to investigate Neretz's folly, whereas I explore Calradia. I need to learn more about the artifact's importance by asking any lord or lady about the Empire's recent history. So basically, I just wander up to any noble out in the field or I find in the street, ask them about it, and if they're not a leader of a clan, because unlike in Warband, every thing in terms of territory and influence and power is clan-based as opposed to person-based. But if I ask any old noble, they'll direct me to the clan leader, and then the clan leader will have a say about it. Now, there's more than 10 clan leaders spread throughout the various factions and nation-states of Calradia, but I only need to talk to 10. I generally like to make certain I talk to at least a couple from at least every faction, just to get various breakdowns. And while I do share the same general story, it's interesting to see things from various points of view. The other quest is to establish the clan of Outlier. So Calradia is a land full of peril, but also opportunities. To face challenges that await, you need to build up your clan. Your brother told you there are many ways to go about this, but none that forego coin. Trade would be one means to this end, fighting and selling of captured bandits in town another. Whatever the path you choose to pursue, traveling alone would make your easy pickings from wherever came across your trail. Know that you can recruit men to follow you from the notables of villages and towns. They may ask you for a favor or two of their own, for they allow you access to the more valued fighters. Naturally, you may also find more unique characters in the taverns of Calradia. However, these tend to favor more established clans. And to establish the clan, I need to have 2,000 dinars in my pocket, of which I have 1,000, and have a standing army of 20 men. I also need to hire one companion, which is an NPC character, not tied to the family or clan directly, uh, but they can technically join the clan as a kind of mercenary role. But much like actual family clan members, they have their own inventory, their own skill trees, and gain their own experience. So they're basically higher end NPCs. So I basically have to do all that. Yeah, once that happens and investigate near its folly, I was going to say the game actually starts, but technically it started. Alright, so I have one person. Me. I don't even think... That's the wrong screen. Pardon. Yeah, he even took the spare prisoners with him. So, that or they executed or just let them go. Alright, so if you look, a character did say that I gained a level, so I have 2 focus points available. So I can put focus points in any one of these categories, and it affects the learning rate of the particular skill. So for instance, two-handed currently has a learning rate of 3.67, which means every point I earn for two-handed gets multiplied by 3.67, and I end up with 3.67 points. So if I end up getting 100 points of experience from something, I end up getting actually 367 points, I believe. And the learning rate is affected by the attribute skill, I believe this is called. Yeah, the attribute skill. And the actual how many focus points I have. So for instance, because I have focus point in one-handed, the learning rate is 5.33, and because crossbow has 2, it's a solid 0.7. As I was looking at, there's various skill perks that you get once you manage to get a skill up high enough, and I
believe they are based off, is like every 25 points you get one of these perks, and I can, and if it's doubled like this, I can actually choose between one of them, and though I don't think I can respec and switch. So for instance, once one-handed gets to 25, and I'm using this as an example because it's, well, what I'm currently selected, I'm ridiculously close, I can select either deflect, where one-handed weapons you wield have their handling increased by 20%, as well as troops in the formation you're leading have the one-handed combat effectiveness as if they were one tier higher, or I can choose Basher, where shield bashes now do 50% more damage and stun your enemies for longer. Future troops take 4% less melee damage while in shield wall formation. Now I can only choose one of these, I can't actually get both, whereas some, like horsemanship right here, so once I get to 125 in riding, I get action of relief force, where if you join an ongoing battle of your allies, your party starts with 10 plus battle morale. Mounted troops in government settlements garrison provide 20% more security. So I'll automatically get that one without having to choose between either of them. One thing I dislike about the whole choosing between one or two stats is for like smithing. Like for instance, when I get smithing up to 25, I can become either an efficient iron maker, where I can produce crude iron more efficiently by obtaining 3 units of crude iron from 1 unit of iron ore, or I can become an efficient charcoal maker, where a character can use a more efficient method of charcoal, which reduces 3 units of charcoal from 2 units of hardwood. And you burn through, and if you decide to do smithing to any amount of degree, you'll find you burn through charcoal like it's nobody's business. So I generally pick charcoal maker, although I would technically prefer both. And it becomes even worse when you get to the higher ranks, where you can either increase the rate of learning a new part designs when smelting by 100%, which is taking apart new weapons you happen to have and learning how they work, or I can choose to make better ingredients. And as far as I know, outside of steel, there's no way to get higher tier ingredients like fine steel or Thermascan steel outside of taking weapons that have those ingredients apart. So, all that fun stuff. I still need to select my focus points. So, I mean, steward is important, because especially in the long game, when once you become a lord, it dictates how well your clan's holdings function. So it's not really important at the very beginning. So I was running slowly, so I'll put 1 point in athletics. And I would like a shield, but so I'll probably pass on two-handing for right now, but I will put a point in throwing, which is another kind of melee weapon, ranged weapon. Well, they can be used for melee. And none of my skills are up high enough to account for, well, anything. Well, to get any perks or whatnot. Alright, so back to actually playing the game. So let's head back to Vera to see if we can pick up more men. And crossed the path with some looters, and they managed to get to the town before I did, so I had to run around the town. So let's recruit 4 people, Imperial recruits. I'll take what I can get. And also, do they have more grain? Alright, let's go with 10 grain. So daily wages are 8 coin, so every day I lose 8 coin based off of the troops. And I burn through 0.25 units of food every day. So yeah. I leave, and now that I have a small enough army, let's go see if we can fight the looters. So hello traveler, hope you brought your purse. See what we might call brigands, and I'm afraid we can't let you pass without paying us a bit of coin. So I can say fight me if you dare, or maybe we can work something out. I say we fight. Well, I suppose I'll be getting my hands dirty today then. Alright, so I can send in the troops, which basically auto-calcs everything. I can try to get away, but I don't have enough men to do that, or I can just simply surrender. But, you know, if I was going to just hand them coin, I would have just said so. So, let us attack. Even though we are outnumbered, I am on a horse, and we are within range of the town, so...
I would say hopefully the militia would come out and help us, but I don't think there is a militia. So let's just run through this orchard. I'm assuming they're in this direction. Wouldn't be the first time I ended up getting lost. Although my troops are... Those are not my troops. As I say, my troops are heading this way, but yeah, the looters, I actually ran past the looters. Alright, so... They hit the horse. Should also point out that damage in this game is also calculated by speed, so the faster I move, the more damage I actually cause. Get back here so I can kill you. I do not like bandits. Alright, and one-handed skill is now up to 23. We lost no one, and we take one person captive. We also gained 0.15 renown, which is how well people think of us, and 1.2 morale, which is how happy our army is. I also plundered 31 gold. I guess you also get a charred hull, a crude wooden hammer, tattered wrapped headcloth, worn, and various other bits of armor. So since I don't have any head armor, let's equip that. What I currently have is better than everything else that I picked up. So that was weird. Let us proceed on. The charred hoe is technically considered a one-handed axe. In addition to crossbows, I do also like axes. Looks like I can also use it as a two-handed weapon or a one-handed weapon, which I do like having. So we'll actually equip that as the primary weapon, and then we can switch to the iron sword if need be, and then the spear. And so I do also can only equip 4 pieces of equipment, so if I didn't want the axe or sword or the spear, I could go with something else. Also, I could also get equip the hammer if I so chose, which would give me a blunt weapon, which increases the chance of rendering somebody unconscious as opposed to just simply killing them. And I didn't grab a pair of shoes. But if I say wanted a shield, I would have to give up one of these weapons. And if I wanted a ranged weapon, like the crossbow I keep talking about, or a bow if I want to actually shoot something from horseback, I would actually have to give up 2 of these weapons, because the ranged weapons, also outside of thrown weapons, also require ammo, which is its own separate inventory slot. Okay, so we won our first battle. So let's head to the next town, because I need 20 men, not 5. And it's a new day, so I spend $8 coin to pay the troops. And I can recruit 3 more troops. I can't recruit these 3 troops because my relationship with either of these 2 influential people isn't high enough to get them to sell me these guys. Sell is probably a bad word. Hire is probably the word I actually want. So I can actually purchase more stuff. I can also sell some stuff for basically a small piddling amount. Now they do have 2 different types of horses available. So there's technically 3 kinds of horses: your standard horse, war horses, and pack mules. So, like for instance, the Sumpter horse is technically a pack mule, I believe, because it's used for carrying goods, and I can also eat them. So the more Sumpter horses I have, well, I can use them for riding and mounted combat. They also increase the carrying capacity that I have. So if I were to purchase a horse, my inventory capacity increased from 170 to 270. Whereas if I went with a mule, it'd be the same. The Sturgian Trotter, however, is a standard horse, and it can be used for increasing speed. So they designed this particular game in such a way that your movement speed on the world map is dependent upon not just your army size, but also the type of troop. So if I have 100 infantrymen, since they have to walk everywhere, the army would move slower than if I had 100 cavalry troops. Now, the extra horses like the Sturgeon, Trotter, Midlands, Palfrey, and the Saddle Horse would allow the infantry troops to, while not in combat, ride those horses. So the 100 infantry troops, if I had 100 horses to go with them, other than the pack mules, I believe that would increase the speed to the point where it'd be equivalent of cavalry troops. I'm not 100% certain, so don't hold me to that. There's also a civilian mode where basically when I'm not in combat wandering around cities and the like, this is what I look like. Also, weapons and armor don't carry over between the two, so I basically have 5 weapons equipped. Alright, so inventory is, I would say, close to capacity, but it arguably isn't, at least not for this early in the game. And I do need more money, not less, but let's get a extra Sumpter horse and sell off all the spare armor, because I don't really need it, and it brings the price down from 131 for the horse to 73. And I can now basically practically double my carrying capacity. Also, I now have 8 more men, so, well, not 8 more men, I now have 8 men, because I hired 3 people. And our speed is 5.5. I'm not exactly certain how much that translates per day, but basically the higher the number, the faster you go. And this town does not actually have anybody to hire. So let us leave and head to the next town. Alright, so that's a noble, the one that says Ira's party. So I know who she is, so if I chase her down and talk to her, I can ask her about Neretz's folly, in which case she directs me to her mother, I believe. And there's no new people in this town because I'm assuming Ira hired them all. So I can chase down Ira. I don't actually know her travel speed. And because it's now nighttime and I can't really see where she is, I lost sight of her. But there's only so much this pass that can go. And yeah, see, now her army's at 51 people. She has a movement speed of 4.9, so once I get out of the bushes, I should be able to be faster than her and hopefully catch up to her eventually. And there's 11 looters, which are running from her party, because they are definitely not running from me. And a new day has occurred, and since I have a larger army, the pay is now greater. So now 14 looters. I'm assuming the town of Gascos, or the village of Gascos, I should say, has a quest for me. So I finally managed to catch up to Ira. And she asks, well, and who do we have here? Would you care to tell me your good name? My options are, I am Otis, who are you, and who are you? Or my name is Otis, madam, may I ask your name? Or they know me as Otis. Mark it down. You shall be hearing of me a lot. And I guess this various responses affect various things, but I'm not quite certain how those mechanics work, so let's be, civil. I'm Ira. I have absolutely no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Of House Penthos. I'm not certain if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Pethros. One of the most illustrious families in the annals of the Empire. The barbarians we have slain and the glories we have won is second to none. Is this important? I'm rather busy, and I have various options. I don't think many of them actually lead anywhere on account of this game is still not finished yet, and they haven't actually played, and the developers haven't actually programmed them in. But the main one I want to ask is, what is Neretz's folly? Well, that's what some people call the Great Battle of Penderic in the year 1077. Emperor Neritz led an army accompanied by Kuzites and Assyria to fight the coalition of Sturgians, Batanans, and Valadians. It was a disaster for him. He died in it, but the victors didn't fare much better. See, is there anything else? And that just basically tells me what it is, and I can also continue to ask, tell me anything about the Battle of Pandaric. I wasn't there. I know Lucan has some thoughts about it. So Lucan is one of the faction leaders, although I think I can actually talk to her mother, well, Ira's mother, and she would also tell me something about it. If I click here, I can bring up Lucan's information. So the northern third of the Empire, much like the old Roman Empire, is in a state of decline. And unlike the old Roman Empire of actual real life, which split into two empires, the Calradian Empire split into three, and Lucan leads the northern third of the empire. He represents a long-standing oligarchic trend in imperial politics. It holds that strict adherence to imperial law is the best guarantee that the empire will not become a tyranny. Oligarchs like Lucan also tend to believe that only landowners can have the extensive education, experience of government, and stake in property to really understand and appreciate the law. Thus, the Senate should be supreme. And I can also click, I believe, on her name, where it tells me that Ira is the daughter of Ragea. Definitely not certain I'm pronouncing that correctly. One of the three claimants to the imperial throne, and the slain Emperor Aranos. I believe that was her husband, Ragea's husband. At one point, her father appeared to be grooming her as his heir, but though she took well to military campaigns, she also displayed a wild side unbecoming of imperial dignity, browsing in taverns with other young aristocrats and even appearing in the arena as a gladiator. She's Ragea's heir apparent, but her mother makes no secret of wishing to find her a responsible consort to ensure the continuity of the dynasty. Now, it really should worry me when your character description is basically you're a rabble-rouser and your mother wants to marry you off to somebody so that way you have kids. Even though she's basically the heir apparent of her faction. Her mother, Ragea, commands the southern third of the empire. A widow of the murdered emperor, for her, politics is personal. All men want their families to inherit what they have, and if you loved Aranos, then you should support the right of his heirs. A Renikos was indeed loved, and also there's some Calradians who believe that the endless squabblings of wars can only be overcome by a king, or if necessary, a queen. Also, it gives a listing of various people's friends, their various enemies, so if I wanted to get on Ira's good side, and I wanted to, then I should also get on her friends' good sides, and not basically carouse with her enemies. And also is also listing a family, which for her is just Ragea. So technically, I could arguably, if I ever get far enough in the game to find a character or spouse, Ira is technically a suitable candidate if I can get her mother on a good enough side that she actually allows me to marry her daughter. But moot point. So there's that. Click continue. Is there anything else? No, not really. I must leave. It was a pleasure, sir. I hope to see you again sometime soon. Right, and then we flee from these bandits over to Gorkoros. And also this village has a quest now. The only reason why I'm heading here is to see if I can recruit more troops, and I can recruit more Imperial troops. Main reason why I'm getting Imperial troops from these villages is because I'm technically in Imperial cultural areas. So if I were to go, say, all the way over here to the Assyri lands, I would find Assyri troops. Same if I were to go over here to the Kuzites, or up here to the Sturgians, or the Batanan or Valadian strongholds, although if I stayed in Imperial lands, which are these three factions, I should still be finding Imperial troops. Or Imperial recruits, I should say. So I actually didn't check that quest. But let's head here and see if they have more people to hire. Right, and since now I have 14 men, the group of 6 looters is now running away from me. So I can talk to Herefos of Pythia, where he apparently needs tools. So if we visit with him, I ask who I am. I ask what his name is, and he's Baratheos. I've lived here all my life, working the land, as do my kin. A lot of people here at Feria, the common farmers and craftsmen like me, they like me to speak for them. He is one of the influential people of the village. So it's good to meet you. Remember, there's no currency in this world more valuable than the weight of your words, so speak truthfully with me, and also do the same to you. I heard you need some help with a problem. I do have a problem, sir. A sickness passed through here last month. Praise the heavens, only a few people died. I guess in this day and age, a few people dying is good. But many were weakened, and we couldn't get much work done. Now we need to hire some laborers from nearby settlements to make up the shortfall, but we don't have the tools for them. We're in a bit of a rush. Do you think you can find tools for us? Tell me about the details. Need 2 units of tools in 15 days. The problem is the village is short on dinars, so we can make the payment in kind with 12 units of salt. What do you say? So my options are that my men can handle this for you, or, well, it's really my only option. Right. If so, you need a man with good understanding of trade. Also, you need at least 7 fighting men to protect the goods while taking them to the market and back. So I can choose to handle this myself, which means I basically go looking for the tools, or if I had a companion with a high enough trade skill and 7 men to spare, I can say my men will deliver your goods sometime, don't worry, which basically sends that group off into the ether. They do the job without my active input and then return. So tools are somewhat expensive, and I don't think I have that much money. Plus, I don't actually remember where I can get tools. So I can't do that right now, and he says that's a pity. So I must leave. So no harm, no fuss. We'll see if I can find the tools and head back. So, when trying to chase down Ira, I came across Marina Castle. Marina Castle is a stronghold, so it's a defensive choke point, and every village that you see on the map is tied to either a castle or a city. And if I want to take the villages for my own kingdom, or whatever kingdom I'm fighting for, I have to besiege the castle and take said castle or city. Now, one thing I should point out for people who've played Warband, that once you take a castle, you can actually divvy up the fiefs, or have the fiefs divvied up based off of which fiefs there were. So one noble will get the castle, another noble will get a village, a third noble will get another village. Whereas in Bannerlord, the castle and the surrounding towns are governed by clan, which is what makes clans rather important. So if my clan were to take this castle, and whatever lord I was a vassal of decided to award me this castle, not only would I get the castle, but I'd also get its bound villages, which are actually Morena and Phaetos, or the village I was just at. So I just chased down 11 looters, and since they were running from me, once all this goes away, I can actually read it. We're just harmless travelers. I think not brigands. Surrender or die, or never mind, you can go. You'll never take us alive. Let us fight.
Attack! Go!
Alright, so I currently have the charred hoe equipped, which is being used as a 2-handed weapon. And I missed everyone. And now my horse has stopped, so now I get pummeled. Now I run behind my entire army because I ran off like a fool. Alright, this weapon has a very short range.
Whoa!
But I just basically stabbed somebody in the head. Alright, so let's switch to the sword, just simply because I seem to have a better shot with that. As I miss. And I think I actually made him unconscious. I think that's what the white symbol was. Whereas if it's red, that means I killed him. Where did you go?
Go!
Or not.
Yeah!
Anybody else? I also have my spear and then the hammer. Alright, so one thing I did like in Warband, while it didn't really give me much of a map, it did give me the ability to see where the armies were. So, for now, my only indication is which way my army is chasing them down. Right, and I actually injured my horse with that. Alright, so I'm guessing they escaped and I didn't realize it, so we're done. Although there was one person left, so I'm guessing he made it, he ran away. So more broken and battered weaponry. Alright, so that's a party from a minor clan, which is, how do I put this? Not affiliated with any of the major factions. I believe they can be hired as mercenaries, but they are somewhere in between bandits and mercenaries. A lot of time, if the major factions don't hire the minor clans out to serve as mercenary troops, they're usually just directly fighting them. Okay, so one hidden skill has reached 25, so I now get to choose between one of these two perks, where I can choose Deflect, or I can choose Basher. I mean, I do like the fact that they take less damage in shield wall formations, but I don't really do much in the way of shield bashing. I don't actually remember how to shield bash off the top of my head, so, and I kind of like the fact that they can handle one-handed weapons better. And it's not just like melee troops, it's any troop that has a one-handed weapon. So we'll actually go with Deflect, this one. And Basher's now grayed out, which means I can't learn it. So next two are possible to be Blunt, which increases damage to axes and maces. And Government Settlements actually increases 0.5 security per day. Or Swift Strike, where I have an extra 2% swing speed increase. And Government Settlements increased militia recruitment by 0.5 per day. So there's that. That's really all that I have for the character. Now if I go to the party screen, every troop that exists is part of a skill tree. So the Imperial Recruit, which is the basic troop for the Empire factions, starts as a recruit, and they have a various branching paths. So I can have them become an Imperial Infantryman or Imperial Archer, and depending upon which one I choose, they can either become trained infantrymen or trained archers, and from there they can either become, well, either veteran infantrymen, Mandalorians, or for the trained infantrymen or trained archers, become veteran archers or Imperial crossbowmen. And veteran archers can either become Palatine Guards or Imperial Bucelari, which I know I'm not pronouncing correctly, and are basically mounted archers, whereas the crossbowmen can just become crossbow sergeants. And then the Mandalorian, these guys can become elite ones, whereas the veteran infantrymen can become legionaries. So it basically allows me to build an army, and 10 of my 13 recruits can be upgraded. I can also, if I so chose, recruit one prisoner, which would be one looter who has their own upgrade tree. How did I access it this way? Okay. Yeah, so the looter can become Imperial infantrymen directly, but only, I believe, if I have a specific perk, which doesn't happen early. So I can pay 15 gold per infantryman, or 15 gold per archer. And I like equaling out I like having a mix of troops, so I'll go 5 infantrymen and 5 archers, and put the remaining 3 recruits at the very bottom, because I'm used to the fact in Warband it didn't put your entire army out at once, so whoever was up on top of the list was spawned first. So you have your veteran people up top. And then, of course, better troops require more pay, so my pay jumped from, I think, 14 it was, to 36. So if we head off to Lacarian, or I guess Fiacon's closer. These are actual cities, and they offer more amenities than, say, a village or even a castle does. And if you bother to read what's down here, it just basically tells you various things that are going on over the course of the game. So, for instance, that one town that was mentioned was looted by one of the Kuzites. Right now I feel like chasing down looters, so we'll just turn around and keep heading back to the city. Apparently I need to go all the way around the river, because there's no bridge on this side. Makes about as much sense as anything else. And I believe this is... Alright, so this is another noble, Nifon. So if you please stop there, I would ask for your name and standard greeting. So he is Nifon of House Avlonus, and his family has served the Empire for generations. He's marked our name, and I can basically do the same things I could do with Era, where I can deliver demands, ask if he needs help with a problem, there's something I'd like to discuss, or have a quick question. And I don't really have any options for questions. I got 14 effectively peasants, 13 peasants and myself, against 74-ish heavily armed troops, so we're definitely not delivering demands. And I don't think he has a need with a problem, so I ask him if I can knows anything about the Battle of Pendrick, and he also directs me to Lucan. So I leave. And here, there's also Serendos, who's following Regea's party. So if I keep following Serendos, I should hopefully eventually see Regea, who is in charge of the Southern Empire. Which hopefully doesn't tell me to just simply see Lucan about the Battle of Pendrick. Yes, I know I'm not technically heading towards the town. I get distracted in this game quite easily. Of course, I can't actually see Regea, so I actually don't know where she is. Of course, she could just simply be in Lacarion for all I know. I mean, it looks like he is actually heading there. Well, it doesn't look like Regea is in Lacarion. I'm just basically chasing after another noble. Alright, and I pay 36 more coin for... So now I can recruit all 4 looters, but I don't want to do that. Alright, so someone from Britannia has been taken captive by the Western Empire, and another village has been raided by the Western Empire, and there's a caravan of... Oh look, there's Regea. So let's actually talk to Regea. And she is in the middle of forming an army. Not in the middle of forming an army. She has formed an army. So she's taking 600, nearly 700 men off to God knows where. So I want to talk to the army leader. So this is Empress Regair, leader of the Southern Imperial faction. And she states, "Now then, come no closer, forgive me, but one cannot be too cautious. I would ask your name." "And my name is Otis, madam. May I ask your name?" "I am Regair, rightful Empress of the Calradians. I am Lady of Lycarian and Onera." She's the one in charge. "It's good to meet you. So do you know anything about the Battle of Pendrick?" "Of course, I did not witness the battle, but my husband Aranicos spoke frequently of it." Aranicos is the former emperor who died, and then the empire split. "He was one of the Emperor's trusted commanders. He could not stop Nereids from marching to defeat, but he managed to salvage something from the disaster. When the Sturgians came over our barricades, he managed to lead a group of Nereids' guardsmen out the back. My husband's small force held together and were joined by stragglers and fugitives. He described the march back: no food, little water, marching day and night to keep ahead of the enemy's outriders. They survived, the only organized Imperial force to do so. The city was in a state of panic after hearing rumors of what happened. Aranicos kept things from descending into chaos. When it came time for the Senate to choose the next emperor, there was no question that it should be him. I loved him before as a man, but that day learned to love him as something more. What a gift he was to the people of Calradia." So I say thank you. And the quest to investigate Nereids' folly has progressed. So I don't really have much else, and she does seem to have need of a problem, but I'm ill-equipped to help in the machinations of nobles, especially ruling nobles, so I'm just gonna leave. Oh yeah, this is also Ira's mother. In fact, I'm not certain if it will tell me, but Ira might actually be part of this army. Oh look, 21 looters. Let's chase after them to see if they will fight me. Or at least what's left of my army, and probably not. I don't feel like chasing them now. And the quest near its folly has progressed, so now I need to talk to 9 other heads of clans. Also, if I look at... I think it's under leadership. I don't actually know. I mean, one thing I could do is basically hire a looter just to see what skill I need, but I don't really feel like it right now. So I'm just gonna see if there's any men in Sagor to recruit. Probably not, and I'm surprised there actually are. I can hire up to 5 more people, which brings my total army up to 19. And pay is now 46, and I have 275 denars left to my name. So I need to find a means of getting more coin faster, or I'm going to be in debt and then people will up and start to leave. So let's try to chase down these bandits, or looters as they are officially called. Let's actually increase speed. Kind of forgot I could do that. Alright, so again, they want to know what they want with me, and well, what I want with them, I should say, and riding went up to 15. I want them to surrender or die. So we attack.
Kill them all!
Alright, now because these are just bandits, I just basically have everybody charge, but I can do more advanced tactics like that. So if I have everybody follow me, I can have the infantry units move over there,
Archers
directly behind them.
Forward!
I can have each type of troop do different things.
Everyone, charge!
or I can just have everybody charge. As I said, it's not really much of an issue with missing with this hoe. And everybody died. Advantage of having higher level troops. Also, because I'm wielding this hoe without a shield, it's flagged as a two-handed weapon, and two-handed weapon skill went up. Alright, so now if I go back to the party screen, 2 of my Imperial infantrymen now actually have enough experience to become trained infantrymen. And 5 of my recruits can actually be upgraded as well, so I'll make 3 infantrymen and 2 archers. Which means pay jumps from 46 coin per day to 51. Let's head to Calradia. There's now 21 looters over there, so let's actually chase them down. Because why not? That's how I make money. At this early in the game. Alright, so we're actually outnumbered, but I have better troops than they do. But just for fun, and to refamiliarize myself with the tactics, I'm going to head up here.
Archers!
Have the archers join me.
Infantry! Forward!
Have the infantry go over here. And then look at formations.
Form a shield wall!
I can have the infantrymen form a shield wall, which is a tighter formation which adds to their defense. So as the looters charge at my troops, since we're on a hill, the archers should have a higher range advantage and should hopefully shoot over my infantrymen's heads. So they should shoot them, even though the archers actually aren't.
Bowman! Hold fire!
Okay, fine. Everybody's gonna charge. Right, and they're just all trying to escape up a mountain or a rock incline. So I'm just going to chase them down and hit them with my hoe. And the fun thing about two-handed weapons is if they're close enough, you can actually hit multiple people at once. Of course, this thing doesn't really have that great of a range, so I literally have to be stepping on top of them just to hit somebody with it. But it is a garden implement and not technically designed for war.
Whoa!
I mean, I did pick it up off of a looter. So there's that. Alright, and I hear my troops, I just have absolutely no idea where they are. Oh, they're all still there. Except those guys who are probably chasing after somebody else, so...
Everyone, charge!
Okay, I guess they either killed whoever they were chasing, or they ran away. And 2 people retreated, so I guess they ran away. We did let them come to us, so we were probably close to the edge of the map to begin with.
Tank that!
But we gained 3 extra prisoners, and a whole pile of stuff. Including meat and olives, and a pickaxe, and a rusty sea axe. And some coin. I didn't actually catch how much it was, but I now have 446 coin. So let's head off to town. So
I can also recruit troops directly from the city, and usually since there's more influential people here, there's usually more people to choose from. And if I get high enough in relationship with the influential people, I can also get higher tiered troops right off the bat. So,
like for instance, if I was at maximum relationship with Zachariah the silversmith, Not only could I hire out these 2 Imperial recruits, but also this Imperial infantryman as well. Alright, so since my clan is non-existent, I can only get 20 people to begin with. So let's hire out one more recruit and head off to the Tavern District, where I can visit the tavern directly, which basically allows me to wander around and see people. I can ransom the prisoners that I have to the ransom broker automatically, or I can hire 2 Imperial armed traders, which are mercenary units, for pretty much all of my coin. And I don't want to do that because I'm at maximum troop capacity right now anyway. So let's ransom the prisoners and then visit the tavern, because one extra thing, in addition to finding higher or off-tiered troops, which is what the Imperial armed traders technically are, I can also find companions. So if I just came in here, I could talk to this ransom broker, where it goes, "Hello, sir. You have the bearing of a warrior. Do you have a minute? We may have interests in common." "Splendid. I suggest..." I said, "Okay. Splendid. I suspect that you may, in your line of work, occasionally require a few captives. If I have to take them off your hands, I'll pay you, of course." I asked if he's a slaver. "Oh no, slavers are rare these days. It used to be that when the Empire and its neighbors made war upon each other, the defeated were usually taken as slaves. That helped pay for the war, you see. But today, for better or for worse, that is not practicable. What with the frontiers broken and raiders crossing this way and that, there are far too many opportunities for captives to escape. But that does not mean that war cannot be profitable. Indeed, it still can. Many captives are still taken, and their families will pay to have them back. Men such as I crisscross the Empire and the Outer Kingdoms, acquiring prisoners and contacting their kin for a suitable ransom. So were we to acquire a few prisoners in one of your victorious affairs, and wish to relieve yourself of their care and feeding, I or one of my colleagues would be happy to pay for them a sort of speculative investment. And then I can ask various other options where, what if their families can't pay? What can I get for a prisoner? Would be able to ransom me if I was taken, or that's all I need to know.
Basic flavor text and how it works. Basically, on the menu screen, when I click sell prisoners for 45 gold, I was basically talking to this guy.
Anyway, if you have prisoners, we're happy to buy them from you, and I don't have any prisoners right now, or because I already sold them to him. I believe if I talk to him directly, basically walk in the tavern, talk to him directly, I can actually pick and choose which prisoners I want to sell. So if I had managed to actually capture an enemy noble, I could technically go to the ransom broker and ransom the nobles off, or if I wanted to just sell him, ransom off the standard non-nobility troops, and then stick the noble in prison, I could also do that. Now, somewhere around here, there should be a companion that I can talk to. I think. Yes, no, maybe? I don't know. Well, I can tell that he's a companion because he'll be an actual named character. Who also, I think, looks slightly different from everybody else. Yeah, here he is, Tulu the Prince.
Well, now, stranger, peace to you. What is your name?
My name is Otis, sir. Tell me about yourself. Yeah, sure. I come from a town where every alley has its protector. These are men of some strength, but also a lot of respect, who stand up for the rights of the people there. My father was our alley's protector, and so it fell on me to take his job after he grew too old to do it himself. For years after he retired, we had a new guard captain. We protectors, we served the state, but we're not its tool. This new captain didn't understand. He'd come to me and say, "One of my lads took this man's daughter. See that he doesn't make a fuss, or let's have a little private meeting so you can tell us what your people are up to." I told the captain that I couldn't do these things. The alley people, they trust me. The captain didn't take no for an answer. He pressured me. He threatened my father. What could I do? I couldn't betray my people, but I couldn't betray my father either. I took my family and left. My options are a hard choice, or better have properly constituted authority. Have some back alley tough. Since it's probably best to be on the good side of as many companions as I could get my grubby little mittens on, my options are a hard choice. So here I am. I have mouths to feed, and the thing I know best is to fight. You could say perhaps that I'm between jobs right now, so if by any chance you're looking to hire, well, I'm open to discussion. I can use somebody in his company. So, and then he replies with, there's a young woman around here. I really need to leave her some money before I go anywhere. Let's say 542 dinars. Can you pay me that? And sadly, I cannot. So, if I did have the money, I could pay him, and then he'd become one of my companions for my army. But I don't have the coin, so if I come across him again, or I find the coin while he's still in tavern, I can come back and hire him. Otherwise, I find another companion. Just random flavor text from the tavern, from the local tavern maid. You can also talk to the tavern keeper, I believe, to see if there are anyone. So I can ask for information about the town, or ask if anybody has a task for me. So Sachion the Potter mentioned something about needing someone to do some work. So that's a lead on a quest. So if I leave the tavern and go back, and then enter the trade screen, which allows me to buy and sell new material. So I can't get the Valandin horse because I don't have a riding level of 60. I also don't have 974 dinars. So I can, however, sell off all the tattered armor that I have. And I think I sold something I didn't want to sell. It's the one problem with having... Actually, you know what? Let's reset this. It's one problem with having it set to everything. So if I went to shield or range, I don't have anything. If I went to armor, I can just literally just sell the armor. And then weapons. I generally like keeping the weapons on account of I can take them apart for to learn how they work and to get base materials. And a lot of time the base materials sell for better than the broken weapons themselves. Although in order to do that, I need charcoal, and charcoal is expensive. It's also hard to find, depending if I'm in the wrong town or not. Yep, they sell iron ore, but they do not sell either hardwood or... They do have tools for 103 dinars apiece. I should also point out that that's the cost for one thing of tools. So the next thing of tools that I could buy would be 107. So rather than spending 206 dinars, I'd have to spend, well, 210, I believe. Although I'm actually making a profit based off of all the stuff I had. So if I had accepted that one guy's quest in that other town, I could buy these tools and run all the way back to him to complete that quest. But then I just end up with salt, and I kind of need the dinars more. Plus, I don't know if that quest is still available. So if I take to scan the party, Sanchion the Potter, he has a quest where there's a caravan ambush. I don't know if he wants me to ambush a caravan, or he wants me to chase down people who ambushed his caravan, but we'll find out. And then he states, well, who do we have here? Would you care to tell me your good name? And my name is Otis, sir. May I ask your name? I am Sachinon, a merchant here in Lacarion. I own a pottery shop here. I know your name. I hear you recently caught some bandits. Speaking as a merchant, we appreciate efforts to make the road safer. Here you may have need of a problem. Maybe you can help me. Yes, you see, usually caravans are too fast for larger bandit gangs and too heavily guarded for the small ones. So they usually get through, but there's a new bandit chief around here, a clever one, whose outfit is men with fast horses. Clearly he's got some experience in warfare. We've lost several caravans in the past month or so. So what are you planning on doing about them? I'll outrun any large group that goes after him, but I've got a plan. We'll use bait. I paid some of my workers to spread rumors about a particular fat caravan laden with silverware heading out towards Poros. It is a trap, of course. I've got a bunch of mercenaries going with it, disguised as packers. But to give you some backup, go and follow my caravan. Stay at a proper distance until they are attacked. Then move in to engage and finish the bandits for once and for all. My agent, the caravan master, will pay you 780 dinars once the fight is over. Any other way? In case you decide to let your troops handle this, you should send a good commander with 25 men just to be safe. We'll send them back to you in 14 days. I don't have a good commander, and I also don't have that many men. But I will help out because that is, at least for early game, a ridiculously large amount of money. And I should have the caravan guards to help out. So I believe I did accept the quest. Yeah, caravan ambush.
So if I leave the village, leave the city, And then I basically have to follow this caravan at a safe enough distance.
In the meantime, I will upgrade my troops. Well, upgrade the recruits anyway. We can also let the game move on. So, get a good enough distance away where I can still see the caravan, but hopefully not close enough where the bandits think twice. But attacking 46 men, and now night has fallen, so now I can't see the caravan. I'm assuming they're heading in a straight line. Yep, there they are, and mountain bandits have attacked. I don't know if this is the bandits I actually need to fight, or if this is just some random bandits. But let's help the caravan, because they are now down to 21 men. Well, these guys do have horses, so maybe it is them. And you know what? I forgot to look at to see if I have any extra... wanted to buy any extra weapons. So all that stuff is new. And since these guys are mounted, they move faster, so they're harder to chase down. And this guy even has a bow. So I shall hit him with my hammer that I pulled off of another bandit. Assuming I actually managed to survive this, because I'm not doing too well. So I'm now down. However, the battle still proceeds because my army is still in the fight.
I definitely need better weapons than whatever I can pull off of the corpse.
So I can switch between various characters. But I can't really give orders. I can also see how everything is going. So there are now 4 pillagers and 2 ransackers left, basically 5 men still alive. And none of my people have died, although 1 Imperial archer has been injured. And that guy is now dead. And it sounds like the last of the bandits are running away. I would say that was it, but the guy just came over the cliff and he died. So relationship was increased with the influential person by 4, and the fight is now done. Although technically 1 person is still alive, but I'm assuming he's running away. And I earned 64% of the loot. That's actually a new listing. Interesting. Alright, and our relationship has increased from 4 to 8 now. And I pick up 1 mounted ransacker. As well as a thick shield, a cracked hunting bow, some splintered arrows, and a whole bunch of stuff. So now, if I really wanted to, I can swap out the hammer for a shield and be better protected slightly. I can also swap out the sword and spear that I had for a bow and some arrows. And like I said, ammo-based range weapons like bows and crossbows effectively take up 2 slots because I need 1 for the weapon and 1 for the ammo. Alright, looks like I can't use a shield with this one. Alright, so the Imperial Caravan Master, thank you, sir, Sanchani on the Potter, informed me that help would be on the way. We needed it. I think those were a pretty tough lot. Glad we caught up to you in time. We'll tell everyone what we did. Please take some of these goods in compensation. We have no intention of selling them anyway. Safe travels, sir. So that is the quest. I gained 2 skill points in Charm, as well as 780 coin. And the 1 mountain bandit that left, I can technically chase down if I want, but he's by himself, so he'll have a speed of... Well, originally he has a speed of 28, now it's a speed of 4, and my speed is actually faster than his. So I can actually chase him down if I want, and which I did, so best back off. Squares of our brother just over that ridge, waiting for our signal. And nice try, brigands, surrender or die. They'll never take us alive, it's kind of just one guy. But I'm injured, so I can't actually participate in the battle. But I sent in the troops, and 1 against 18 men goes out about as well as one would expect. And I take him alive. So now I have 2 prisoners, an extra sumpter horse, and a sleeveless padded whatever. Which is still not better than the current armor that I have. Alright, let's head back to Lycaon. Right, and daily gold change was 56 coin. But if I look at the party, I can't upgrade the final recruit that I have, but I can upgrade the Imperial Infantrymen to veteran status, and then the 6 of the archers to trained infantrymen. Trained archers. And because they are higher levels than the archer or any infantry that I have, the trained units go up top, and I pay 375 gold, and next day's wage will be 86. Head back to Lycaon. So if I go back to the Tavern District, and I can then ransom the prisoners, because the mountain bandits are of a higher value, I actually get 112 just for the 2 of them, as opposed to 45 for like 5 bandits. Although the one companion that was here, I forget his name, no longer is listed there, so he's not here. But if I go to visit the tavern, and track down that ransom broker, he should be here somewhere. There he is. He's carousing. So you better bring your purse. I got prisoners to sell, and I'm able to actually, since I talked to him directly, I can pick and choose which prisoners I want. So I can only sell. I can have ransom off the mounted ransacker if I want, the mounted pillager if I want, or both. And since I don't have the skill to do much anything with brigand troops, I'm just going to ransom off both of them. And we're good, but as I said, companion's no longer here, so there's no point in staying in the tavern. Although I can also recruit 6 Imperial armed traders, but I believe maximum number of troops is still 20. So even if I could recruit, even now that I have enough money to actually recruit them, I actually
can't take them into the army anyway. But if we go to the trade screen,
just sell off all the spare armor that I have.
And I can also buy actual armor in place. So rather than having a tattered wrapped headcloth, I can get a leather cap. I can also get...
Well, if I do actually have the money to spare, but if I wanted to and they were actually cheaper, I could get some sort of shoulder protection. Almost couldn't think of it. Although I can see what it looks like if I don't actually buy it. Better actual armor or other clothing. Yes, even dresses. As well as armor. And then better boots. If I so choose. I can also adjust the civilian attire if I so wish. So, slightly better armor all around. Look at quests. Yeah, current party size is 20. And you also need 50 renown, which is basically people word of mouth. Which is basically winning battles and completing quests. So just basically doing the game. Alright, so since I'm injured, I am going to just wait here for some time till I fully recuperate, which will probably be a couple days. And then I should actually head out, back out, look for more quests, hunt down more bandits, all that fun stuff, to increase renown, increase more coin, and just basically become a better army commander, effectively. As renown increases and as clan tiers increase, I'll gain the ability to field larger and larger armies, and eventually, once I get high enough renown, I can then talk to various nobles to be hired on as mercenaries or even vassals, and once I get enough renown and the clan tier will increase high enough, and I'll have ridiculously large amounts of troops, I can then also, if I so choose, again, pledge to be a vassal for a faction, or just go to war against an actual faction and take territory for myself to become, basically found my own kingdom. But that's all for ridiculously later in the game. Right now, I just need to talk to the heads of various clans and other heads of state to find out more about Nietzsche's, Neretz's folly, I should say, and proceed with the storyline there. I don't know at what point it will actually happen, but I do know that the end of Rescue the Siblings quest line does take place eventually. It's in the game, and I have completed it. I just don't know how far along I have to get in order to actually trigger it naturally. Last playthrough that I did, it was added in halfway through the playthrough, so I was rather deep in the game by the time it occurred. So I don't know when exactly it'll happen, but for right now, I just gotta focus on building the clan and building the wealth and doing all that fun stuff. But all of that is going to be another issue for another day, because I am going to call it here.
Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.